Alrighty. All right, so if we're looking at what these numbers represent, guys, are the number of elements or the number of items inside of each one of these circles. And we don't know what A and B are right now. It's just, this is set A. There's 10 items in set A. That's what that means. There's 5 things in set B, or in the overlap, and there's 3 items here, and there's 2 items outside. Okay, so everything that's in set A would be represented by shading in the circle that's A, obviously. Okay. Now, if I said how many numbers are in set A? Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed your stay and give us a good thumbs up on Yelp. Okay, appreciate it. All right, have a good day. All right, so if you looked at this, all together in set A, there's 15 items. Okay, and the way that you indicate that is because there's 10 here, and then there's 5 other items that are also in B at the same time they're in A. So altogether in A, there is 15 items. This is how you'll see it written. You'll see a little N, and then a parenthesis or brackets, something like that. And that just means what's the number, not the value of the number, how many items are inside of that circle. In this case, there would be 15. Simple enough. Okay, everything in B, well, everything that lives in, think of it like a neighborhood here with a circular fence around it. So if you live in B, you live in this area, and the number of items or houses in B would be 8. We use our neighborhood analogy. So the number of items in B is 8. Simple enough. Okay, so that's your most basic Venn diagram. Those 2 things. Now, the notation for the word complement. So in geometry, a complement was the angle that would make 90 with the angle that you started with. So if you had a 30-degree angle, its complement would be 60 degrees. 30 plus 60 is 90. Okay? A complement, I could say, nice haircut, complement. But a complement in this regard, when we're talking about sets, is everything that is not in the set. It's outside. So there's 3 different ways of writing it, and it all depends on whoever wrote what you're looking at. All 3 of these mean the same thing. So if there's a little apostrophe, if there's got the tilde or the squiggle, that means complement, or if it's got a little C, that means complement. Okay, so all 3 of these mean the same word, complement. All right, so it's everything that is not in A. So I would, in this case, the complement of this would be everything outside of circle A. And how many items would there be? 5. Yep. So the way that you'd write that would be, I would say, n of the complement of A is 5. So that's our complement. And then over here, complement of B, everything that's not in B, and that would be how much? 12. Okay, so the number in not B is going to be 10, and the 2 over here, 10 and 2, so that would be 12. And our not B, everything outside of that. Question? Because 5 is inside of B. It's in both. So you're coloring everything outside of B. Say that again. The 10? And I did. All right, now the two when we start combining sets, okay, you got two ways that you can combine them. One is you put everything together. So this is kind of like two people getting, you bring all of your baseball cards, I don't know if you trade baseball cards anymore, but we're going to combine our two collections, even if we've got ones that we have in common. So union, or another way I used to think about it was a union is like a wedding. So we move in, you bring all your junk, I bring all my junk to wherever we're living. Even though we might have doubles of some things, it's everything. All right, and if you look at the letter here, the U, that symbol right there just tells us that it's the union because it looks like a U. Okay, the word union is associated with the word or. So we could say it's items that are in A or they're in B. Okay, so in our case, the number of items here in the union of A or in B would be what? 18. Yep, everything that's inside these circles. 10, 5, and 3. So that would be 18. Right? And that would be everything that was in A and everything that was in B. So you got one area that's colored twice, and that doesn't matter. All right, so that's your union. Now your intersection is what they have in common. So the word intersection is we use the upside down U for intersection. And that is associated with the word and. So both of these things have to occur. It's in set A and it's in set B. So the only place that occurs is where the two overlap. So if I was shading this, it would be both colors. So the number in the intersection A and B is, there's 5 items in there. Okay. Now the next one, some of you may not have to draw these or shade them twice. It all depends on how visual you are. When I do them, I used to have to draw them twice. That's why you've got the tracing paper. Especially when we'd get into ones that had 3 circles in it. It gets kind of, can be a little bit confusing figuring out which is which. Okay. The thing to remember is when it's knowing what to do with the parts that you shade. Okay? So on this particular one, okay, actually we don't have to break this one up because this is simply going to be the complement of the one right before it. Okay, so the one that we did right here, this is everything outside of it. So it's not in the union of A and B. So if that's the union of A and B, then everything outside that union is going to be shaded in for this. So how many items would that have in it? Yep. So the number that is not A or B is 2. Okay, and that's going to be that part outside of those two circles. That's the negative. Yeah. Right here. That tells you not. Okay. All right, so not A and B, would it be this? Okay, and then that allows us to do, this is not the intersection. So the number of items not in the intersection would be how much? 15, yeah. 10 plus 3 plus 2. So not in there, I'm going to color everything outside of the intersection. So that symbol tells us the word not. This symbol tells us the word intersection or overlap. So when you have a union, when you're united, you're combining. When you're intersecting, it's what you have in common. All right, so when you think about that, this means you're going to combine and this means what they have in common, or I think the easiest way is where's the overlap. So when you're coloring more than one, depending on the symbol, you're either going to combine all the colored areas or you're going to color just the overlap of the two areas. Okay? So what I mean by that is if we were doing the next one here. So this says not A united with not B. Not A united with not B. So it's a united. So what I'm basically doing is I'm going to take the not A, which looks like this one right here, and I'm going to unite it with the not B, which is this one. Okay? So basically, if I took, this is what it would look like. I'm just going to take one of these. I know I'm going to combine them. Okay, so here's my not B. So I'm going to take that not B and I'm going to combine it with my not A. And I shade in, that's what it's going to end up looking like. So everything gets shaded except for the intersection is what it turns out to be. Okay. Yeah, it's the same as the last one, which is an important little conclusion. So I'll show you. Let's see. This guy is going to end up looking like, let's see, this. Oh, everything except for the intersection. All right. Numbers are the same. And this shows you that this describes one of the laws of set. All right. If you think of the squiggle as a negative sign. Okay, so if I took that squiggle and I distributed it, it's going to turn it into this one right here. Okay, so I'll show you because we can see these are the same. Oops, you just can't see it. These are the same thing. So if I took this set notation right here, squiggle, A intersect B. All right, think of this as like